Hey guys, that one Andrew here. Welcome back. Gonna ahead and play this little Nintendo video for you while I talk about today's topic. And oh my goodness, I don't usually make part twos to my rants because I feel like I get everything out when I'm saying my rants. But two things. My first Nintendo is super greedy and actually really sucks video has 1,000 views. Thank you very much. I know 500 of those views are people that don't agree with me and are hating on me and things like that. That's okay. There was one comment that actually just happened today where I'm thinking about making a video about it because I think this is a hot topic that a lot of people probably need to view differently. It's about loot boxes, so, it's a pressing matter. Well, not anymore, but, I don't like to roll with normies or whatever you want to call them. I do my own thing. And sticking with that, I'm going to talk about Nintendo today again. If you just wait 1 second, I have some Persona 2 music going on in the background. Fantastic OST. Go check it out. All 500 tracks or whatever. But oh my goodness, does Nintendo still suck? And I don't understand how this company continues to falter and just be awful and terrible. Set aside that they haven't released anything worth they haven't. Nintendo's in my mouth right now. That's how bad they are. They haven't released anything of consequence at all in 2020. We had Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is a port, and then we had a subpar Paper Mario game. And then we really had nothing else. No announcements, no nothing. DLC, I guess, for Smash. That's great. But yeah, and Animal Crossing, of course, which Animal Crossing is good, but that was released right when the pandemic really started exploding, and then Nintendo's gone silent. And I know there's a lot of people that can say like, hey, it's a pandemic, give them a break. Except every other gaming company in the world has been able to, let's say, make games, release consoles, brand new consoles, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. Sony's done it. Capcom's done it, Square's done it, EA's done it, Activision's done it, Ubisoft's done it. I go on and on and on and on and on. Except Nintendo. And this kind of leads to a bigger topic that I talk about on the podcast a lot, which is I think there's trouble in Nintendo, and I think there's something wrong on the inside. We don't hear about their presidents ever, or we don't hear from their presidents ever like we used to. I think when Iwata passed away, a lot of things were shaken up, and then Reggie leaving, because I think Reggie saw the writing on the wall that things weren't good at Nintendo, so he bounced. Because if you notice, he said he quit to take time for his family, and he immediately went over to GameStop. Which, let's be honest, GameStop, not the best, not the highest company right now, not the most successful company. But Reggie took it on over Nintendo. Think about that for a second. So I think that's one thing, is that Nintendo's just in a bad position. But I have a little script here that I'd like to read. And it goes a little something like that. Holy shit, Nintendo. I didn't know how you did it, but you somehow outdid yourself. First, you sell us some RC car and cardboard for for hundreds of dollars, which is ridiculous. That whole Mario Kart Live thing, not worth $200. AR technology is not expensive. Those RC cars are not expensive. They're probably profiting $180 off that stuff. Probably cost them $20 to manufacture, make, and ship it. Honestly. $20 each thing. Then you give us the worst emulated trilogy of the modern era. 3D All-Stars is awful. It's only good because the games are good, but even then, it's not ported well. It's nothing changed. It's bad. They did add inverted controls after enough fan outcry, which is wild, but should have been in there from the beginning. But they did add inverted controls for Sunshine. And they did add GameCube controller support, but these are things that should have been in there from the beginning. I don't give passes for the million-dollar companies doing things after the fact. That's just the way I roll. But then you continually keep making these arbitrarily limited releases for digital games. I was like, what word is that? We talked about it in the last video. The whole 3D All-Stars till March is stupid. Fire Emblem being till, I think, March or April or something, stupid. It's fucking dumb things. I saw the president come out and defend this, saying like, "Oh, it's celebration of the games." It's like, no, it's market scarcity. It's stupid. But somehow you're able to outdo all of that. Somehow you're able to produce nothing this year, but at the same time make every wrong decision. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, and maybe you don't. It is 2-3 weeks old at this point, so the internet has short-term memory. But in case you forgot, Nintendo sent a cease and desist letter to the man that was making the custom Joy-Cons in memory of Etika, popular YouTuber that took his own life a couple years ago. Very sad stuff. Big Nintendo fan. Big Switch fan. The person making these Joy-Cons was doing it all legally. He was buying the Joy-Cons and making them all himself, which means Nintendo was getting money for the Joy-Con sales. He was not stealing them. He was not buying second party. He was purchasing brand new Joy-Cons and then customizing them. And Nintendo, the big dickheads that they are, went over and made him shut the whole thing down. Now, mind you, Nintendo isn't the only company to do stuff like this. Just recently, Sony stopped the person from selling custom faceplates for the PS5, so Nintendo is not alone on this stuff. But what makes Nintendo's far worse is that if you go online right now, there are dozens and dozens of custom Joy-Cons that you can purchase currently. But for some reason, Nintendo decides to go after the guy who's making them to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention by remembering Etika. Good job, Nintendo. Really, really good face. Only Nintendo could do something as sinister as this. I don't know about that, actually, but that's what I wrote. Oh, but that's not all. No. This isn't the only stupid thing Nintendo did recently, and I'm sure you all know the big one. The other thing Nintendo did was shut down an online tournament for Super Smash Bros. Melee, an event that is online because of COVID, the pandemic that's happening right now. That's currently happening and killing thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. Apparently that's not a good enough reason for Nintendo to allow legal emulation. Nintendo shutting down emulation isn't anything new. I think it's because emulators sometimes work better than their actual games. Mario 3D, All-Star Collection. Better emulated online. These dense head... What did I say? These dense head bone suckers in Kyoto? I don't know. I typed this out a couple days ago, and I don't know what I was thinking. Are actually trying to destroy Nintendo. They're doing everything in their power to make everyone hate them, and it's working. Oh shit, I almost forgot. Nintendo also said that Joy-Con drift isn't real! That was a real thing they said! That it's not a problem! What?! I'll leave you with that. Fuck you, Nintendo. And that was the script that I wrote. And I think it covers pretty much everything. I don't know how anyone at this point could defend Nintendo. And I've noticed a lot of comments on that Nintendo video I made, the first one. There's like 90 comments. Oh my gosh. A lot of them are saying, well, EA's still worse. And honestly, I don't know if EA is worse. EA sucks. There's no doubt about it. But EA does not suck as much as Nintendo. EA has not given us poor ports of games. They at least port their games well. EA is at least letting their developers do things and do well things. I'm looking at Respawn. EA is bad because they shut down it's not even that. So they shut down developers. Pandemic. The guys that made Dead Space. What was I forgot what they're called. They shut down big name companies. And that's always the worry, like, oh, are they going to shut down BioWare and things like that afterwards? And the only reason that sucks is because we are fans and we like those developers. But let's be honest, they're a business and they're probably shutting them down because they're not producing anymore. Sony does the same thing. Microsoft has done the same thing. Every big developer has done the same thing except Nintendo, because Nintendo just goes under the Nintendo brand. But even then, we look at HAL Laboratory. They didn't shut them down, but they essentially cut them out. So Nintendo's not exclusive to that either. And we look at all these promised things. They give us janky hardware constantly. The Switch is janky. Doesn't work right. The Wii U was a fucking laughingstock. The Wii was, I guess, a gimmick. But even then, it kind of sucked in hindsight. It was cool for about a year in 2006. GameCube was way. By the way, I love the GameCube. GameCube, one of my favorite consoles. But set it up against the Xbox and PS2, that console is nowhere near as good as those two. Nowhere as near. So they make bad hardware. Their games that they're known for, like, oh, at least Nintendo has great games. Well, they did. Definitely GameCube era. Wii U era, kind of. Wii era, kind of. Switch era. ARMS, is that really a great game? Was Splatoon 2 really that innovative? Mario Odyssey, I guess there's an argument that it's really good. I think it is a really good game, but it's not new. It's Mario. It's small. New Donk City I thought was going to be like this bigger open world, but it felt small. It felt like a GameCube game in HD. Breath of the Wild, I could go on for hours how that's not the perfect Zelda game at all. I think Zelda is the thing that they innovate most on. I think that's why it's one of the most popular things. I mean, it's the one that they innovate most on. It's the one that they take chances most on. So I guess Zelda is the exception. But then you look at other things like F-Zero, might as well say that's a developer closed down. You could say, I'm blanking right now on Nintendo games that haven't come out in the last 20 years because they haven't come out. A lot of them are rare titles, which I know Xbox owns now, so that doesn't really count. Oh, Metroid, unless I just said Metroid. No, I didn't. Metroid, so you could say that is like what happened to that Metroid game? Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3, that's not real. Games don't go away in quiet for 4 years unless they've been canceled. And whatever game we see next, whatever Bayonetta 4 game we see, or Bayonetta 3 we see next, is not going to be the one that they were making 3 years ago. And if it is, it's going to be bad. So, I don't like that EA comparison because I think EA right now is being ran better than Nintendo is right now. And I know a lot of people find that hard to believe because they look at Nintendo as the big picture. But guys, it's not 1986 anymore. It's not even 1990. It's not even 2000. It's not even 2010 anymore. The last time Nintendo was truly great was, we're looking at better half of a decade. Over a decade. 2009. 2008. Was when they were really good. And there's the 3DS, and you could argue that, hey, they had the 3DS, and yeah, the 3DS was okay. It was definitely popular, but I don't think popularity means that's good. Take the EA argument. Sports games are some of the most popular games ever. They're always highest selling on the charts. They come out every year. They sell gangbusters. Does that mean they're better than every other game? No. I think Nintendo's really lost something when Iwata passed away. And all the other bigger, higher ups there, like Miyamoto, he's not doing anything. He's old, guys. He's done. He's tired. He's just a face now. Hell, the face of Nintendo is Sakurai, and he just makes Smash. Like, he's not even like a big high up. I mean, I guess he is of that studio, but like, he's not someone in charge. He's not corporate Nintendo. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but I think you would want to expect better from your game companies. I think you should expect better. And I think when your game companies start sucking and start shutting down online tournaments through legal emulation because there's a pandemic. I mean, they're doing it because there's a pandemic, and they're shutting down it because they're greedy about their IP. And they want your money on a game that hasn't come out. That came out 15 years ago. 20 years ago. And you have a company that's shutting down custom Joy-Cons in memory of someone that took their own life. And they're making these custom Joy-Cons to raise awareness of him and of suicide prevention. When you have a company that's doing that, I don't care what you've done before, you're pretty awful. And you're pretty shitty. And any good that you did before, which, let's be honest, the only good Nintendo's ever done is make money. They make good games, they make fun games, but it's not like they're going out there and donating to children's doctors and feeding the hungry. I mean, come on, these are video games, guys. And girls. These are video games. And right now, Nintendo is not producing the video games. And they're not doing good PR. And they're kind of shitty. Well, I can't wait for this to get blasted and raked through the coal mines, but I'm going to keep saying it because more and more every day they're showing their true colors. Their true colors of really sucking. I love Nintendo, by the way. Just not the Nintendo we have right now. And I hope that we get back to the Nintendo that we had before. Anyways, thank you for watching. Loot boxes should be illegal. Just going to throw that in there. If you guys want me to, I'll make a whole video on that, I guess. But to explain why that was just a big bitch fit through the online community of, oh, loot boxes should be illegal. It's gambling. And stuff. Shut up. If training cards for Pokemon are legal, then loot boxes should be legal. I'll leave it at that. Anyways, thank you for watching. Love your faces. Hi, I'm Philip DeFranco. I'll see you guys in the next video. Check out the podcast, by the way. Goodbye.